Here's another variation of a baited 330 set for otter. This is basically a takeoff of the bucket set. You can see I've used 3/8 rebar here, welded a slot for the springs, covered it in wire. I've also got this raised bar right here with 2 spikes, and that's where I put my fish on. It just makes it kind of easy to just be able to set the fish right on it. I'm going to set this and then show you what it looks like. So here it is, I've set it. I put the fish down on the spikes. As you can see, it's elevated on that bar. That just kind of makes it harder for the crayfish to get up there and chew on my skipjack herring that's off the bottom. The springs are wired. I wired the lower spring, the bottom spring, in the orientation it's in, to the side of this. By wiring the bottom spring, when this thing goes off, it actually makes the whole trap want to jump out, which gets a little bit better grip on the otter. So I set this next to some rocks where an otter would come along looking for fish, and when they dive for that fish, they get the trigger. I'm going to put it in the water and show you what it looks like when it's all the way set. So here it is set in the water. One thing I didn't show you earlier is on let's see, that corner of the trap in the bottom and that corner, I have rods about 5 inches long welded that stick down, and that just keeps the trap rotated like this. Makes it a little easier for the otter to see into it from the point of view they would come from. And you can kind of see how this creek is here. It's just, let me back away. It's all rock down this side. There's really no place to find slides or places to set good footholds. This kind of creek doesn't really even take sign very well because it's all gravel rock on one side and hard rock on the other. But I put some otter lure on this stick right here and a little bit of fish scent. Kind of just helps get them to this rock where they can look off and see the set. So here I am on the other side looking back where the trap was. And you might question, why not just use a bucket like everyone else and do this set? And the answer is to be stealthy about it. I trap some public land. Hikers come along here, horseback riders. If I had a bucket sitting right there, everybody'd be able to see it. But the way that trap is with the dark rebar and the wire around it, you can't see anything. Can't see that trap. Can't see the one sitting vertically unless you look really close right there. You really got to be looking for it. And so this just keeps people from jacking with my sets. That's the reason I don't like the bucket set. A bucket, you might as well, if you're using a bucket, you might as well mark it on Google Earth and say, come screw with my sets, because everybody passing by is going to see it. So I'm going to end this video by showing you something I tried that did not work too well. This year, I welded up these stabilizers. And the idea was to get away from the wire and the big box and the difficulty of carrying it and so forth, make something that was a little easier to get around with. Problem is, I had the trap set off a lot with no otter in it. And in this particular situation, I was putting the fish on the trigger wires of the 330 right here. And I think the weight of the fish in that horizontal position actually made the trigger too sensitive and allowed little fish to come up and pick at my bait and set it off, and who knows what else was picking at it. And all I know is I'd come back and the trap would be set off and the bait gone and no otter. But I've never had that happen with the basket sets that I made. It kind of keeps the fish in the creek from getting to your bait, or they're less likely to with that wire around it. And usually when it gets set off, there's an otter in it.